Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I've decided to get into some of the ranked games before the mode turned itself off not too long ago. And I didn't actually have ranked before when I was playing, and I wasn't really too sure what the mode was. It kind of seems like I don't know. I'm sure for other people it's been around for years, but I haven't played for 2 years, so it seems kind of like a team battles, but you don't know who you're playing with and you can't speak to them, which is a bit weird. Um, I don't know if the Object 140 is a good tank anymore. I kind of feel like when I was seeing some other people play ranked, like people were running around an Object 906, 907. I can't remember what the 907. Um, they're running on that medium tank and an auto-loading Kranwagens and just kind of overpowered stuff. So I'm not quite sure if this tank is good anymore, but it's what I have. So we ended up heading over to I guess the 1-2 line over here, and I was staging up beside the heavies. It felt a little bit weird. And yeah, the enemy team was kind of just hiding in the rocks. They didn't really want to pop out, so just kind of poking around, and that guy drove out and got shot by a lot of stuff right there, so that wasn't very good for him. And there was a couple guys on the other flank, so I ended up driving out here, and I tried to track the Kranwagen, and then he gets nailed. So that part of things was good, and I haven't managed to take any damage yet, which is pretty amazing since I like to drive out in the front of things all the time. So I decided to pull up here, and looks like I got a little bit of heavy help, and instead of driving out into the open there where I wouldn't have as much help or support, I decided to go around on this, I think it was a Conqueror. And this is one of the things I'm trying not to do anymore, where I use auto aim to go around corners and stuff. I think it was the back of his tank, so it probably had a good chance of going in, but it's a pretty stupid thing to do, and I'm going to try not to do that anymore. So I'm just trying to figure out where I think the rest of the enemy team is, and I can see that there's some guys going south, and I can see their artillery, so I pop up and shoot him. The shot velocity in the object is still good, and it still aims quite fast, and it seems to be pretty agile. I think I am going to change it and put a rotation device or a turbo on it. Instead of, I think I have a gun rammer, verts, and just, what's it called, and vents. So me and this E50 head over here and try and get some shots into this Kranwagen. Or, yeah, that's what it is, I think. No, that's a 50B, sorry. So he's caught up to me a bit now, and I wasn't too sure if I wanted to go in on these tanks, because I wasn't sure how many of them were actually over here, but there's at least 2 of them. And I was fairly healthy. The E50, not so much healthy. And so he heads over to the right side here. And I thought about staging up beside him. And he pops out and takes a shot at something. And I decided that I was going to go and try and pop around the other side, where in hindsight, it probably would have been maybe a better idea to hang out with him and then try and fight the E50. But instead, this guy goes flying around the corner. He comes around and misses, and then he rams me a little bit. And then I'm able to take one shot in. And I hit him a couple times here, but he's now like wasted all of his shots. And I'm still not dead, but I'm ammo racked. And I've already burned my small repair kit. And my friend's already dead. And for some reason, this guy's not pushing on me, and I don't know why. So I just decided to turn my turret backwards and slink away. And I was pretty prepared to have this E50 pop out in the bush there and just kind of blast me to pieces in the back. But he just was really passive, and I don't know why. I really was surprised to get out of that alive. And I didn't run into any rocks on the way out, which is something I do half the time, because I don't look where I'm going. I look back to see if I can shoot at something, and I think it's better to just get out half the time And yeah, so I'm still ammo racked for a fair bit of time, and these guys are now deciding to push in on us. So we can see that the E50 drove up into the field, which was really dumb, and he's going to die. And so I decide to come back, even though I'm ammo racked, see if I can apply a little bit of pressure to this guy. So I'm going to drive up here, and I think this guy might drive around in front of me. So I just keep driving, and then I pop him, and then I go around to the left, and then our STB is going to just be in the back there a little bit, and he's going to fry him. And so yeah, he had his gun pointed at me. He was going to try and take me out. And my small repair kit just came back online at the very end of the game. But it was turned out to be a pretty fun game. I got some kills and did some damage. And overall, the Object 140 is still one of my favorite tanks. Pretty much every medium tank is my favorite tank once they start getting around tier 9 or tier 10, just because they feel like mini main battle tanks. And I definitely struggled for the first few of my ranked games, not really sure where to go or what to do, and then I just started playing them as more like a regular random game, but kind of treating it like a tank, like a team battle in a way. It was a bit weird, but in the end, I ended up getting I think for my last about 10 or 12 games, my first 6 games were all losses because I wasn't really sure what the hell I was doing. Um, but after that, I ended up getting usually between 1 and 4th on my team in damage, even if in damage and experience, and even if we lost. So that part of things turned out pretty okay. So I did a fair amount of damage in a not super overpowered tank. I don't think the Object 140 is really overpowered anymore. I know my T62, it's not overpowered anymore. They just kind of gave up on it, and I don't know why they bothered taking that out. But it's no longer in the game, and it's kind of sad. But I'd like to get the upgraded style kit for my Object 140 to make it look a little bit more posh looking. And yeah, the next game I'm going to show off here is the T110E5, and this is a tank I just got, and I just finished training a crew for, and I'm still figuring out this tank. I'm more impressed with the armor on this tank than I am on the E100. It's a little bit easier to play. You can kind of just wiggle around, and you get bounces off stuff that you sometimes don't even think you would get bounces off of. And that weak spot on top I haven't found to be a super major problem. As long as you keep moving, it's fairly hard to hit. So this one is again on proc, and I'm going to pull up into this little dish here and see what I can spot down the 1 and 2 and 3 lines on this very campy map. I never really liked this map, and it's never really gotten better, no matter how many lanes they add and bushes they add, and it's always just been a very kind of non-progressive, boring map. And I get nailed by the E100 who's camping in the back, which is kind of crappy, but I end up taking this shot at him. I'm aiming at the light bar, the thing on the top, and I honestly have no idea how that went in. I didn't even fully aim the shot, so I was pretty surprised that one actually ended up going in. I snapped that one off, but it didn't. I didn't fully aim that one, and now I'm just going to wait for him to turn his turret a little bit and manage to put another one in. And it's pretty much time to just go in after I take this shot at the object. And then boom! I ended up hitting him for over 1,300 damage because he turned broadside and I hit his ammo rack, and his turret went flying up in the air. It's pretty cool. So got a rack on him, and then I decided to turn my attention over to the Conqueror over there, and he blows up. So that was a good result there. And then for the most part, I'm just going to drive across the middle of the map and see if I can maybe get some shots in on this guy through the train tracks. And shot went a little bit low and to the left, so that one ended up missing. But yeah, I pretty much like the T125. I think it's only my second tier 10 heavy tank. It's this one and the E100. I'm still grinding towards several of the other ones, like the Chinese one, which used to be the 113, but now it's the something 5A. And then there's the Object 277, And yeah, they really clubbed the crap out of my T10, and then they added in the Object 257, which I'm not really in love with either one of those tanks, and I'm especially not really liking the T10 much anymore. Its hull armor is like just non-existently bad, and I actually was getting overmatched in a game versus a tier 8 Skoda T56, I think it was, that had a 130 millimeter gun. He was just overmatching through the top of the T10's turret, which is pretty sad considering how big it is, and the gun accuracy is not great. The reload obviously isn't great, and it doesn't move fast enough to make up for the fact of how big it is, and it's just all around not very good anymore. It was maybe good about 4 or 5 years ago, but the T10 is really a tank that I don't even think I'm going to keep it, to be honest. I'm probably just going to sell it when I get the tier 10, and I'll hold on to that instead. But yeah, this was my first, not my first two games, but my experience in ranked so far. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys again in the next video. Cheers, guys. Bye.